Now, you notice that when there are other things that we do as composers when we want to say something besides just major and minor and loud and soft. We can actually use different ways of playing our instruments. For instance, on the piano, I may do something, you've seen me already today, maybe do big kind of lush chords like that. I'm playing a lot of notes at one time. You've seen me play like that where one note at a time, but a whole bunch really quickly in a row. And maybe something like that, all different ways of playing the piano. Well, these wonderful orchestral instruments that we have here, we have two violins. Raphael and Robert play violins. And there's several different ways that they can play the violin to make it sound differently. Guys, Raphael, would you just play something arco, very cantabile, maybe just a da-da-dee-da-dum, just a beautiful, smooth singing line. Isn't that beautiful? Now, you see how he's holding it with his left hand, and he's using his right hand to bow. Would you do that? Take your left hand. Take your left hand and put your bow in your right hand. We're going to play a note. Just play one note with us as we play. Ready? And play. Now let's play two notes quickly. Ready? And jump, jump. Now let's do 5 notes in a row. Ready? Go. Yum dee dum dee dum. That's beautiful, Raphael. Robert, would you demonstrate a pizzicato sound for us? Now that's a plucking, short, very short sound. Now, do you see how he's not even using his bow at all now, is he? He's using his finger. Can you try that? Let's play with him as he does that again. Ready? Go. Bum, 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 bum. Called pizzicato. Can you say pizzicato? Pizzicato. No, come on, take your hand. This is Italian. Pizzicato. Pizzicato. Like pizza. Say pizza. Spaghetti. Pizzicato. Good. Now, these are both violins. Now, Robert here is playing what looks like a violin, but it's a little bit larger, isn't it? It's called a viola, and it's a little bit of a lower sound. And you've played a viola before? Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. Robert, would you demonstrate what a viola sounds like? Can you hear that it's a little bit lower sound? Wow. Let's try that. Put your hand up in your violin position again, your left hand. But this time, because it's bigger, hold it out here. Okay? Now let's play just a scale with Robert with the viola. Ready? Go. Pretty cool, huh? But now look at this big one here. David is playing a much larger one. You couldn't hold that up to your head, could you? It's called a cello, and he actually has to hold it kind of between his legs, and he's got his left hand up here next to his head while he plays. It's called a cello. It's one of the most beautiful instruments, I think. Would you demonstrate what the cello sounds like, David? Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? One of the wonderful things about a cello when you're a composer is that a cello has a really large range. It can go really low. Would you play a really low note for us? And it's also got a really beautiful high range, like you demonstrated a while ago. Okay, can we try that? Hold your cello. It's kind of between. You want to sit up, put your feet on the floor. Put your feet on the floor. Use your left hand. I'm going to hold up my right hand to be your mirror, okay? But use your left hand. And let's play a scale with Mr. David as he plays. Ready? And... Cool. Very good. Now, Mr. Bob over here is playing the biggest one of all. Could you imagine holding that up here like a violin? You'd knock yourself out, wouldn't you? This is called a double bass. This instrument is so large that when Mr. Bob goes to buy a car, he actually has to think, will my double bass fit in my car? Can you imagine that? It's a really cool instrument that can do lots of different sounds. Would you first demonstrate a beautiful bowed arco sound? Wow. Do that again. Do you recognize that? Now, would you use that to paint a picture of a bird?
No.
No. What animal would you use? Would you paint a picture of with that? A hippo? That's a good one. What else? A bear? A shark? Yeah, right. He showed us that. Would you also show us the pizzicato sound with the bass? It sounds like blues, yeah, like jazz, right? Yeah, the double bass is part of all different kinds of groups, not just an orchestra, but we use it in all kinds of ensembles. But it's another big, wonderful string instrument. Kids, would you stand with me because we're going to play the double bass now. So we're going to stand up with your left hand. Now look, you see how big that thing is? It's like up here. Okay, use your left hand, and let's play one with our bow. Okay, take your bow with your right hand, and let's try a scale. Mr. Bob, go. See how low we go. Good. Now let's pluck it and do kind of a bluesy sound again, like he showed us. Ready? And. I think you've done that before. Yeah. Great. Have a seat. So you see, even though all of these instruments look a lot alike, they all have very different sounds and very different ways that we can play them. And as composers, when we try to write music that maybe tells a story or describes a feeling or paints a picture, we want to use all those different things, right? We want to use all the different sounds that these instruments allow us to use. We're going to play a piece now by a composer named John Rutter called A Roving. It's a folk song called A Roving, and it kind of shows all these different things. You'll see them plucking, you'll see them bowing, and I want to see if you can pay attention to when they change the way that they play their instrument. Let's do the first movement of the rudder.